Hi there, my name is Martin from Stein. I'm the Professor for Merchandising in this year's edition of the Master in International Business Management. Today we discussed some interesting topics about how merchandising is different from marketing, how we can interact with somebody who we called the shopsumer, the new kind of customer that we're faced with at the point of sale, and point of sale could be both online as well as offline. But typically what we see is that the new customer has two budgets that he can spend on us as businesses. On the one hand, it is the time that he has to invest in doing his shopping act, and on the other hand, of course, it is the money that he spends on the products that he acquires. And therefore, in the future, retail businesses as well as manufacturers have to focus much more on the right combination of product on the one hand and service on the other, in order to adapt to that optimum balance for the shopsumer in terms of his time and money budget. And that, of course, leads to a very peculiar segmentation of shoppers in the future. No matter whether you earn the same amount of money, whether you have the same time available, your shopping behavior will be very different in terms of your preferences, in terms of your likes and dislikes. And therefore, shopping or merchandising as a marketing activity directed towards the point of sale needs to be much more focused on the different shopper types that we will encounter in our business. Therefore, I believe that in the future, retail businesses will have to either focus on a very short distance, personalized experience that they offer to their shoppers in store. On the one hand, that is one of the propositions, and the other one has to be to really go into a mass market, low cost retail channel with very efficient operations in place that help companies to attract a relatively large amount of shoppers with an average or even low budget assortment and offer towards their customers. But those, of course, will have to live from the volumes that they generate. Whereas on the other hand, retailers have to focus much more on the quality perception, on services, additional services that they offer in their segmentation. So in today's class, we covered all those trends around retail in the future, how we need to address those trends from a company point of view, and then we discussed eventually the merchandising mix, which is composed of 11 variables that can actually help us to influence shopper decisions at the point of sale. First of those variables is touchpoint communication. How do we attract customers to our stores? By advertising, by publishing in media things about our store to make it more attractive in the mindset of the shopper. Next thing, of course, is location. Where do we actually have to place our store to attract a significant amount of traffic that will help us to sustain the business? Third thing is, how do we create the shopping window and the facade of the store? How do we attract shoppers at a short distance, which is another variable that is important to plan, and what role we want to play in this area. Sort of large space dedicated to offer our merchandise to the exterior, or is that rather a space that we want to use for our store inside, for example? Next question is, of course, how we design and create a layout for the store. What kind of appearance do we want to generate for our shoppers? Do we want large spaces, generosity all over the place, or do we want rather the very high assortment with narrow spaces, suggesting that our store is rather well placed in offer and relatively low prices, for example. Next thing is category and store orientation. So how do we place different groups of products in the store? What will you see first when you come in? What will be at the bottom end of the store? Next thing then is how do we train and prepare our personnel to support our overall business or our overall retail experience in store? How much do they support the sales process? Will they just sit at the checkout, or will they help us when we have any questions? And then of course we come to 4 variables that really determine our product-based mix in store, which is the assortment, the placement, the pricing, and the promotions that we generate around our offer in store. And finally, we come to a loyalty program, which offers us the possibility to engage in a more long-term relationship with our customers and helps us build up customer loyalty over time. That can be by the means of a loyalty card or other systems which are today in place and available online. So those are the 11 variables that we really have to focus on when we think about merchandising. Those are the 11 variables that make our shoppers buy or not buy. This is the investments that we are making on each of those variables will determine what our profits, our return on investment will be in the future. So make sure that we study each of those variables well and how our shoppers behave, react to the investments that we generate on those different variables. So hopefully you'll be eager to see the continuity of that class with the next session over the next weeks. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.